The rain-slicked quad of Elmwood College was a blur of taillights and shouted goodbyes as freshmen hauled duffels toward dorms that smelled like fresh paint and regret. Justin Harper tripped over my own untied sneaker, spilling half my life, textbooks, a crumpled photo of my mom, and that stupid rainbow pin I'd hidden in my sock drawer, across the wet grass. Then came the laugh. Sharp as shattered glass. Watch it. Queer bait, Alex goddamn Whitaker spat. His broad shoulders blocking the last sliver of dying sunlight. His boot grinding my pin into the mud like it was my goddamn soul. Blood roared in my ears. Hot and familiar. As memories clawed up from high school hell, lockers slammed on my fingers. Slurs scrawled on my Jeep in the parking lot. Alex's crew circling like wolves while he watched. Smirking. King of the jocks. 4 years later. Here he was. Same crew-cut blonde hair. Same ice blue eyes that could freeze you solid. Striding onto the same campus like fate had a sick sense of humor. Harper, he drawled. Voice low and mocking. You still trip over your own dick? The crowd around us, kids with lanyards and wide-eyed dreams, snickered. And I felt it again. That hollow ache in my chest. The one that whispered I'd never outrun him. Not in this podunk Ohio town where everyone knew your daddy's sins before you did. I scrambled up, mud streaking my jeans, heart hammering like a freight train. Fuck off, Whitaker, I muttered, voice cracking just enough to make his smirk widen. He leaned in closer, breath smelling of cheap energy drinks and entitlement, his flannel shirt brushing my arm, close enough I could see the faint scar above his lip from that fight junior year. The one he'd won because I wouldn't swing back. Careful, princess, he whispered, so only I could hear. College ain't high school. But some things, they don't change. He straightened, clapped a meaty hand on my shoulder, hard enough to bruise, and sauntered off toward the frat row, leaving me kneeling in the dirt, wondering why the hell my pulse wouldn't slow. That night, in the sterile glow of my single in Hawthorne Hall, I bolted the door and sank onto the bare mattress, the pin clutched in my fist like a talisman. Elmwood was supposed to be my fresh start, away from Dad's endless shifts at the mill. Mom's grave under the weeping willow back in Dayton. Away from the whispers that followed me like smoke. I'd picked this place for its theater program. For the anonymity of a campus where no one knew I'd spent prom night alone in my car, crying over a half-written coming-out letter I'd burned at dawn. But Alex? He was the ghost I couldn't exorcise. The reason I'd learned to shower with my back to the wall. To laugh off the shoves as bro stuff. Sleep came in fits. Haunted by dreams of his face, twisted in rage one moment, softening in the next, like some fevered what that made my skin crawl. By morning, the quad was alive with orientation chaos, booths hawking club sign-ups, a brass band blaring Sweet Caroline off-key. I kept my head down, weaving through clusters of kids in Elmwood tees, my backpack heavy with avoidance. Theater tryouts were at noon. If I nailed the callback for Rent, maybe I'd vanish into the role of some tragic queer icon and forget the real me entirely. But fate, that cruel bitch, had other plans. I was halfway across the student union when a frisbee, neon green, hurled by some lacrosse bro, sailed straight for my skull. But not fast enough. It clipped my temple, sending me sprawling into a table of free pizza slices. Laughter erupted, the kind that starts small and swells into a roar. And there, rising from the pack like a bad penny, was Alex, jogging over with that easy athlete's grace, frisbee in hand. Harper? You okay? His voice was all concern now, laced with that fake bro worry guys like him perfected. He extended a hand, calloused from weights and whatever else straight dudes grip to feel alive. I stared at it, veins bulging like ropes under tan skin, and something twisted in my gut, hatred? Sure. But laced with a reluctant awe at how he'd filled out since high school. Shoulders broad enough to block doorways, jaw set like he owned the world. I ignored the hand, pushing up on my own, wiping sauce from my hoodie. Peachy, I snapped, tasting blood from where I'd bit my lip. The crowd dispersed, but Alex lingered, eyes narrowing as he clocked the trickle down my forehead. You're bleeding, dumbass. Come on. Nurse's office is this way. The hell I will. I turned to bolt, but his fingers closed around my wrist, firm, not crushing, and for a split second, the world narrowed to that touch, warm, electric. Let go, I hissed, yanking free. But he just fell into step beside me, undeterred. Jesus. Harper. It's a scratch. Don't be a drama queen. We walked in tense silence, the union's chatter fading behind us, leaves crunching underfoot like brittle bones. Why was he doing this? Pity? Some jock redemption arc? By the time we hit the health center, my head throbbed, and I let him shove me onto the exam table, the nurse clucking over the butterfly bandage while he loomed in the doorway, arms crossed, looking every inch the reluctant hero. You're welcome, he said later, as she shooed us out with ice packs and warnings. I mumbled something non-committal, but he caught my elbow again, gentler this time. About yesterday. You know, before. High school was fucked. I was fucked. Water under the bridge. I searched his face. Those blue eyes steady for once. No smirk in sight. Water under the bridge? Like he hadn't pinned me against the bleachers once? Breath hot on my neck as he whispered threats that still woke me sweating. Yeah, I lied. Voice flat. Sure. He grinned then, real and boyish, and clapped my back before vanishing into the throng. I stood there, ice melting down my shirt, wondering why forgiveness felt like swallowing glass. The next weeks blurred into a rhythm of avoidance and accidental collisions. Elmwood's fall semester hit like a freight train, lectures on Brecht in drafty halls. Late-night cramming in the library's musty stacks. The faint thrill of rent callbacks where I poured every bruised syllable into Mark's lens, capturing the world's ache without letting it touch mine. Alex was everywhere, frat parties spilling onto the quad, pickup games on the intramural fields, his laugh booming from the back of my gen ed psych class like thunder on the horizon. I told myself it didn't matter. I'd nod if he passed in the dining hall, force a tight smile when he'd slide into the seat next to mine during group projects, his knee brushing mine under the table in ways that could be accident or something darker. Harper's got pipes, he'd say after my improv scenes, voice casual, but his gaze lingered a beat too long, tracing my mouth like he was memorizing it for a test. It pissed me off. How he'd flip from tormentor to this, teasing but not cruel, offering notes I'd forgotten, or a protein bar when I skipped meals lost in scripts. One crisp October Friday, the theater cast list went up. I was Angel, the drag queen with a heart too big for his fragile frame. Elation hit like champagne bubbles, but it soured when I spotted Alex at the cast party in the black box, nursing a solo cup amid the glitter and grind of queer kids owning the space. He wasn't supposed to be here, frats and theater didn't mix. Not in this town where artsy meant easy target. But there he was, cornered by Mia, our sassy director, who thrust a prop fan into his hands and dragged him into an improv bit about lost lovers. I watched from the shadows, bierwarming in my grip, as he hammed it up, flouncing in that ridiculous boa, voice pitching high and mocking at first, then softening into something raw, eyes locking on mine across the room. "You think love's a punch to the gut?" he ad-libbed, fan fluttering like frantic wings. "Nah. It's the quiet after, the part where you bleed slow and realize you can't walk away." The room hooped, but I felt exposed, like he'd scripted my secrets onto that stage. Later, buzzed and bold, I found him outside, leaning against the brick wall, smoke curling from a pilfered cigarette. "What the hell was that?" I demanded, the chill nipping at my cheeks. He exhaled slow, eyes hazy under street lamp glow. "Just playing along. Harper." "You were staring." The pause. Then quieter, "You were good up there. Angel suits you, fierce under the feathers." I laughed. Bitter. "Don't patronize me, Whitaker. You don't get to waltz in here and act like we're whatever this is." His face hardened, cigarette crushed under his boot. "And what's that? Enemies? 'Cause I don't hate you, Justin." Never really did. The use of my name, soft, hit like a sucker punch. He stepped closer, the air thick with leaf smoke and unspoken shit. "High school. I was scared, okay, of everything. You made it easy to aim my crap at something else. Scared, eh?" Voice rising. "You broke my fucking rib once, Alex. Called me every name in the book, 'cause I looked at you wrong in gym." He winced, hand raking through his hair. "I know. Good. I know. Dead spelt? The team's bullshit, it all poured out wrong. But seeing you here? It's like a do-over. Let me try." The party thrummed behind us, bass vibrating the wall, but we stood frozen, breaths mingling in the cold. His eyes dropped to my lips, and for one electric heartbeat, I thought he'd close the gap. Instead, he backed off, muttering, "Night, Harper," and melted into the dark. I pressed my palm to the brick where he'd leaned, heart a wild thing, wondering if forgiveness was just another word for falling. Winter crept in on Elmwood's campus like a bad ex, uninvited, relentless, turning the quad into a slushy minefield and the air sharp enough to slice lungs. Rehearsals for Rent swallowed my days, blocking scenes in the drafty auditorium, Mia's voice cracking like a whip as we nailed the La Vie Boheme chaos. My angel makeup running under hot lights while I lip-synced to "Today for You" with a fire that scared even me. It was catharsis, dressing the pain in sequins and sass. But offstage, Alex lingered like a half-healed scar. He showed up to every rehearsal after that night, slouched in the back row with a thermos of coffee, claiming Mia had recruited him for tech crew. Bullshit, he couldn't tell a gel light from a goddamn glow stick, but there he was, hauling cables and cracking jokes that had the ensemble in stitches. "Harper, you in that wig? Lethal," he'd say post-run-through, tossing me a towel as I scrubbed glitter from my neck. His touches multiplied, a steadying hand on my waist during a lift gone wrong, fingers lingering on my hip, a shared blanket during outdoor blocking when snow flurried down like confetti from hell. I hated how it felt, safe? Almost. How we'd end up in the green room, knees bumping under the folding table, trading stories over vending machine chips. He'd talk football scholarships gone south, his old man's whiskey breath and toughen up lectures. I'd let slip about mom's cancer eating her from the inside. How theater was my middle finger to the silence. "You're stronger than you know," he'd murmur, voice rough, thumb brushing crumbs from my lip in a move that screamed intimacy. My body betrayed me every time, pulse spiking, skin humming, like it recognized something my brain screamed to ignore. Thanksgiving break loomed. A week back in Dayton's hollow quiet. But before that, the cast threw a gratitude rager at the off-campus house Mia sublet. The place reeked of patchouli and pumpkin ale. Fairy lights strung like drunken stars. Queer anthems blasting from speakers rigged by, you guessed it, Alex. I arrived late. Angel heels traded for boots. Nursing a cider in the kitchen when he found me. Flushed from shots. Flannel unbuttoned over a thermal that hugged his chest like a promise. "Dance with me, Harper," he slurred, grabbing my hand before I could protest. The living room was a crush of bodies, drama kids grinding to Chapel Roan, laughter drowning the world's edges. He pulled me close, one arm snaking my waist, the other clasping mine like we were prom rejects, finally getting it right. His stubble grazed my temple, breath warm against my ear. "You smell like vanilla and trouble." I should have shoved him off. Reminded him of the blood on those knuckles once curled in rage. But the music pulsed, and his body fit against mine like a key in a lock I'd forgotten I owned, solid, unyielding, heat bleeding through denim. "This is a mistake," I whispered, even as my free hand fisted his shirt. "Then why's it feel right?" His hips rolled with the beat. Deliberate, eyes dark and searching. The room spun, cider buzzing in my veins, and when the chorus hit, he dipped me low, world inverting, his face inches from mine, lips parted on a grin that cracked something open in me. I surged up, crashing our mouths together, tasting salt and ale and years of what-ifs. He froze for a heartbeat, then groaned, deepening it, tongue teasing mine, hand cupping my jaw like I was fragile, precious. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed, the party a distant roar. "Justin," he breathed, "nin priyu," fingers tracing my throat. In the dim guest room smelling of mothballs and regret, clothes shed like old skins, his hands mapping my ribs where bruises once bloomed, my nails raking his back as he whispered apologies into my collarbone. It was messy, urgent, him inside me on rumpled sheets, breaths sinking like a duet we'd rehearsed in dreams. "I should have seen you sooner," he gasped, pace faltering, eyes locked on mine with a vulnerability that shattered me. My brave, beautiful Justin. Tangled in sweat-damp limbs, he held me like I'd vanish at dawn, tracing lazy circles on my hip. "This. Yeah. No more running." I nodded into his chest, heartbeat thundering under my cheek, believing for the first time that monsters could mend into men. But dawn brought clarity's cruel light. I woke to his phone buzzing, texts from Brody, his frat pledge brother, laced with emojis and, "Dude, where you at?" Alex stirred, kissing my shoulder before slipping out for morning practice. I lay there, sheets cooling, replaying the night like a highlight reel, the way he trembled when I touched him, the soft, "I think I'm falling," gasped against my neck. Theater called, final dress rehearsal, and I threw myself into it, Angel's joy a shield against the ache of his absence. He texted mid-afternoon, "Can't stop thinking about you." Coffee after? Heart somersaulting. I typed hell yes. But rehearsal ran long. Mia's notes turning into a 3-hour teardown. By the time I escaped, dusk painted the campus purple, street lamps flickering on like hesitant confessions. The coffee shop was a cozy hole-in-the-wall off Greek Row. All exposed brick and indie folk crooning from speakers. Alex was at our corner booth, two lattes steaming, his smile lighting up when I slid in. "Missed you," he said simply, lacing our fingers under the table. We talked for hours, future dreams, me in NYC stages, him coaching high school ball somewhere green. Fears, mine of rejection's echo, his of becoming his father's ghost. His foot hooked mine, playful, and when he leaned across to steal a sip, our knees knocked in that secret Morse code of want. But as we walked back, arms brushing, his phone lit up again. "Brody? Calling." He silenced it, but not before I glimpsed the lock screen. Him and a girl. Arms slung casual at some tailgate, her head on his shoulder. "Who's that, Beth?" Casual as I could muster. He hesitated. Then, "It's ancient history." But his eyes flicked away, and doubt slithered in, cold as the wind whipping the bare oaks. The next day, rehearsal broke early for tech glitches, leaving me wandering the Union with a gnawing itch. Alex's Insta was public, stupid jock habit, and there it was. Buried in stories, a clip from last weekend's kegger. Him shotgunning a beer while that girl, blonde, bubbly, tagged at Kayla Frat Queen, hung on his arm, laughing as he dipped her in a sloppy kiss. Caption: "Living my best life with my girl." My stomach dropped, vision blurring. That was last Saturday. Before our party. Before us. Rage boiled up, hot and familiar. I stormed to the frat house, a hulking Victorian nightmare oozing bass from its bowels. Pledges guarded the door like meathead sentries, but "Tell Whitaker Harper's here to kick his ass" got me waved through. The living room was a war zone of red cups and stale pizza. Alex holding court on the couch, until he saw me, face paling. "Justin? Wait. Fuck you," I snarled, voice slicing the din. Heads turned, whispers rippling. "Your best life? With her? Player, what?" Slumming it with the fag you used to beat on. His eyes widened, scrambling up. "It's not. Kayla's nothing. Casual." I was gonna end it. "Casual?" I laughed. "Hello. You kissed me like I was your goddamn world last night. Held me like you meant it. And this morning? Lies." I shoved the phone at him. Story frozen on that kiss. The room hushed. Frat bros shifting awkward. One muttering awkward. Alex grabbed my arm, pulling me toward the stairs. Upstairs. Now. I yanked free but followed. Fury propelling me into his room, posters of Steelers legends. Bed unmade from God knows what. Door slammed. He rounded on me, "I swear. Justin, it's over. Kayla's been pushing. But you hear it. The real shit. Then why the post? Why not tell her to fuck off before you crawled into my bed?" Tears burned. Traitorous. Am I just your pity fuck? The bully's redemption arc. No. He closed the gap. Hands framing my face. Thumbs swiping salt from my cheeks. Good. I've wanted you since high school, Hated myself for it. So I lashed out. You're not pity, you're the only one who sees me. Broken and all. His voice cracked, forehead dropping to mine. Forgive me. Please. I'll prove it. I searched those blue depths, seeing the boy beneath the armor, scared. Sorry. Against every screaming instinct, I nodded, pulling him down into a kiss that tasted of salt and second chances. Clothes hit the floor again, slower this time, reverent, him on his knees, worshipping with mouth and hands, me arching under him, claiming back what he'd stolen. Yours, he vowed against my skin, thrusts deep and deliberate, our bodies a tangle of apologies and ache. We came undone together, whispering promises into the dark. Christmas break fractured everything. I fled to Dayton's empty house. The mill's distant hum a lullaby of loneliness. While Alex texted nonstop, "Miss your laugh." Kayla's done, told her straight up. Proof followed, a screenshot of their breakup thread. Her rage emoji tirade blocked. It should have soothed, but distance bred doubt. Shadows of his past creeping in like frost on window panes. I baked Mom's gingerbread recipe alone, the kitchen echoing with ghosts, and wondered if love was just another stage prop, shiny under lights, fragile in the wings. Back at Elmwood in January's bite, the campus was a snow globe shakeup, paths shoveled into white tunnels, breath clouds mingling like secrets. Rent open to packed houses. My angel soaring, reviews in the student rag calling me a revelation in fragility and fire. Alex was front row every night. Bouquet of daisies, my secret favorite, thrust at curtain call, his whoops drowning the applause. Post-show parties became our ritual, him waiting in the alley, leather jackets slung over broad shoulders, pulling me into shadows for kisses that steamed the cold air. "You're my angel off stage too," he'd murmur, nuzzling my neck as we stumbled to his truck, the old Ford rattling like our nerves. Sex evolved from frantic to fevered poetry, lazy Sundays in his bed. Sunlight slanting through blinds as he'd trace my tattoos, a tiny phoenix on my rib, inked postmum, learning my rhythms like lines in a script. "Tell me what you need," he'd whisper, voice husky, fingers teasing until I begged, bodies slick and synced in the quiet hours when Elmwood slept. But cracks spiderwebbed under the idol. Frat whispers followed us, bros side-eyeing when he'd bail on pledges for Harper time, mutters of Whitaker's gone soft, laced with slurs that made my fists clench. Alex brushed it off. But I saw the toll, late-night calls from his dad. Slurred demands to man up and commit to that cheerleader, the way he'd tense when I reached for him in public. Hand withdrawing like I'd burned it. Valentine's hit like a rom-com gut punch. He planned it perfect, picnic in the greenhouse, rented for privacy, fairy lights and takeout Thai. A playlist of our songs, Wicked Game for the ache, Lover for the hope. We fed each other mango sticky rice under humid glass. His head in my lap as I carded fingers through his hair. "Marry me someday," he joked, sliding a candy ring onto my finger. But his eyes were serious, blue as Lake Erie in summer. "Only if you wear the veil," I teased back, heartful. That night, in my dorm, his roommates out. We made love slow and shattering, him above me, gazes locked. Every thrust a vow. "I love you, Justin," he gasped, the words breaking free like birds from cages. And I shattered around him, whispering it back, tears mingling on the pillow. Spring thawed the doubts. Or so I thought. Rent closed with a cast bash at the lake house Mia's folks owned, bonfire crackling. Stars pricking the ink-black sky. Bottles passed like batons. Alex and I danced barefoot in the grass. His chin on my shoulder. Humming off-key to light my candle. "This is forever," he said, nuzzling my ear. And I believed him. Drunk on firelight and his scent, pine and possibility. But hangovers bring clarity's hangover. Monday morning. Psych class, I slid into my seat. Backpack heavy with scripts for summer auditions. When my phone buzzed, a text from an unknown. "Ask your boy about the pledge hazing vid." Eyes open. Theater fag. Attached. A grainy clip. Time-stamped Friday night. Alex. Blindfolded in the frat basement. Surrounded by whooping bros. Chugging from a funnel while they chanted slurs. "Take it like the bitch you are." Then, as the mask slipped, him laughing along. Shoving a pledge, some freshman twink, to his knees in a mock blowjob charade. "Small. Whitaker. Show us how you'd handle Harper," one jeered. And Alex, my Alex, grinned wolfish. Thrusting air, like this. "Fairy? Beg for it." Nausea roiled. The room spinning. Class blurred, I bolted to the bathroom. Retching into porcelain. The betrayal acid on my tongue. Hazing? Fine. But that, mocking me, our love, like it was punchline fodder? It gutted me deeper than any high school shove. I confronted him that afternoon in the quad. Snowmelt puddling at our feet. "What the fuck is this?" I thrust the phone at him. Video looping his laugh like knives. His face drained of color. Hands shaking as he grabbed it. "Justin the shit?" "It's not." "Not what?" "Performing our sex life for beer points." Voice cracking. I step back. World tilting. After everything, the apologies. The "I love yous"? You're still that bully. Alex. Hiding behind tradition while you carve me up for laughs. Tunch. Gripping my arms. It was stupid. Drunk bullshit. I didn't mean, gut. I stopped it after. Told them to cut the fag crap. But yeah. I laughed. 'Cause if I didn't, they'd know. About us. About me. Tears welled. Voice raw. I'm terrified. Okay? Coming out here? In this town? Dad would disown me. The team would eat me alive. You're braver than I'll ever be. Brave. I wrenched free. Chest heaving. Brave is surviving your fists. Your words. Not this half-assed closet where I'm your dirty secret. Rain started. Fat drops blurring his face, regret etched deep. I can't. Alex. Not anymore. Earned. Walking away through the downpour. His pleas, Justin? Please. I love you. Drowned by thunder. Back in my room. I curled on the bed. Sobs racking me like flu. The phoenix tattoo mocking my crumbling resolve. Love wasn't supposed to feel like this. Forgiveness a boomerang that kept slamming back. Days bled into a numb haze. Rehearsals for the spring musical, Hedwig. My rock god redemption became my lifeline. Channeling the rage into songs that screamed what words couldn't. Alex tried, flowers on my doorstep. Voicemails cracking with pleas. Cornering me in the union with eyes like bruised skies. Give me a chance to fix it, he'd beg. Voice low. But I'd steel myself. Murmuring no, like a mantra. The breaking point came mid-April. Hedwig Tech Week crunching nerves raw. I was in the costume shop, stitching glitter to a bustier, when Mia burst in. Justin's ex is downstairs. Says it's urgent. Heart stuttering. I descended to the lobby, finding not Alex, but Brody, smirking, with a USB drive dangling like bait. Heard you're airing frat laundry, Brody drawled. Eyes cold. Whitaker's been moping like a kicked pup. Thought you'd want to see this before you trash him. The drive held files, emails from Alex to the house prez, demanding an end to hazing slurs, a recorded fight where he decked a senior for faggot jabs at me, even a draft coming out letter, addressed to his dad, inked with my name as his reason to be brave. I stared at the screen, tears blurring pixels. As pieces clicked, Alex had been fighting in shadows for us. The hazing vid? The slip? Born of fear. But not the sum of him. Rajeb? Leaving the vast human mess. That night, opening of Hedwig, the house hummed electric. I poured it all into the role, glamour and grit. The wound and the wound dressing, voice soaring on wig in a box, like a howl at the moon. Front row, Alex. Alone. Eyes red-rimmed. Clapping till his palms bled applause. Post-show. Ali wait, he was there. Hands in pockets. Rain slick hair plastered like surrender. Go ahead, he said. Voice steady. Felt. Hate me. I deserve it. I stepped close. The space between us humming. I saw the files. The fights. The letter. The beat. Then, why didn't you tell me? Fear, he admitted. Simple. Of losing you. Of being the guy who hurts you again. Rain pattered, soaking us through. But I get it if you walk. But no, I love you. Every jagged piece. I cupped his face. Thumbs tracing jaw, scar and stubble. Bully and beloved. We both fuck up. Alex. But love? It's the trying after. I kissed him then. Slow and sure. Tasting salt, rain. Puss. Truth. He groaned. Arms crushing me close. The world narrowing to us. Broken boys building something whole. Summer unfurled lazy and luminous over Elmwood. The campus a ghost town of echoing halls and overgrown quads. But for us, it was a cocoon. Alex sublet a tiny apartment off campus, a shoebox with creaky floors and a kitchenette that boasted charm, if you squinted, stocking it with Mom's gingerbread spices and my theater scripts, turning it into home. We worked odd jobs, him lifeguarding at the community pool, bronzed and barking orders at squealing kids, me stage managing a local reps Angels in America, channeling Pryor's fire into late-night rants about queer resilience. Nights were ours, grilling burgers on a borrowed Weber. Grease popping like fireworks, while fireflies danced in the yard like errant stars. He'd pull me onto his lap in the Adirondack, hands roaming under my tank, whispering beautiful against my throat as dusk bled to indigo. Sex was sacrament now, exploratory, equal, mornings with me topping, learning his gasps like music, evenings tangled slow. His weight grounding me as we chased edges together. Breaths a duet of more and mine. But humaneness isn't linear, scars itch in the heat. One sticky July evening. Post-shift beers on the fire escape. His phone rang. The Spectre. I heard the gravel, get your ass home. But that Kayla girl's family has connections, could fix your dead-end ass. Alex stiffened, free hand clenching his bottle. Nah. I'm good here. But someone. Silence stretched. Then bark laugh. That fairy from high school? Jesus. Alex? I raised you better. Man up or don't come crawling. Alex hurled the phone. Shattering against brick. Face crumpling. I pulled him close. Rocking on the metal slats. His sobs hot on my neck. He'll come around, I lied softly. Fingers combing damp hair. Or he won't. But you've got me. This. He looked up. Eyes shattered glass. What if I'm not enough? For you? For this. Vulnerability raw. He kissed me fierce, teeth and tongue. A claim against the void. We made love right there. Under stars and street hum. Bodies urgent. Him riding me with a desperation that broke my heart. My hands bruising his hips as I whispered anchors, strong. But whole. Climax hit like absolution. Him collapsing onto me. Spent and safe. August brought crossroads. I landed an off-Broadway internship, NYC calling. Glittering and cutthroat, while Alex scored a grad assistant gig at Elmwood. Coaching freshman ball. Go, he urged over diner pancakes. Foot nudging mine under vinyl booth. Chase the lights. I'll visit, Fiends. Holidays. I'll drive that rust bucket truck till the tires square off. Fear flickered, distance as doubt's fertilizer, but I nodded. Stealing his last bite. Promise you'll fight for this? No more closets. Tigran. Boish. Lacing our fingers. Scout's honor. And hey, maybe I'll even learn to two-step for your Broadway debut. Fall semester roared back. Leaves torching the quad in crimson glory. We navigated it deliberate, public handholds in the union. His jersey slung over my theater seat at games. Me dragging him to queer mixers where he'd blush through truth or dare confessions. Frat fallout simmered, some bros ghosted. Others thawed with awkward fist bumps, but Alex stood tall. Coming out in a house meeting that ended in stunned silence. Then hugs from the unlikely allies. Proud of you, I texted post-meet. And his reply, all cause of you. Angel, warmed colder than any Ohio chill. My NYC send-off was a tear-streaked affair, cast party at Mia's. Toasts clinking like wind chimes. Alex's speech, to Justin, the guy who taught a bully how to love, drawing cheers and my watery laugh. Airport dawn. He walked me to security. Duffel slung over his shoulder like he could carry it all. 6 weeks, he vowed. Kissing me deep, passengers blurring. World pausing. Then I'm crashing your couch. Deal, I murmured. Backing through the gate. His silhouette shrinking but solid. New York swallowed me, subways rumbling like unmet promises. Auditions in Cattle Call Cattle. The internship a grind of coffee runs and Q-to-Q marathons. But Alex's packages arrived like lifelines, care boxes of Buckeye candy, mixtapes of our songs, letters in his blocky scrawl, miss your laugh in the quiet. Dreamt of you last night, woke hard and homesick. Weekend calls stretched hours. Voices husky over static, tell me about the city lights, he'd coax. And I'd paint pictures while he breathed plans, saving for a ring. For real this time. Thanksgiving pulled me back Midwest. Elmwood dusted in first snow. He met my train. Truck idling curbside. And we fucked in the cab like starved things, windows fogging. His hands everywhere. Missed you, gasped between thrusts. Home for the holiday, Dayton streets unchanged. But Dad, gruff mill vet? Widowed too soon. Met Alex with a firm handshake. No questions. Just treat him right. Son. Dinner was tense grace. Turkey carved awkward. Stories swapped over pie. Alex's knee steady against mine under lace cloth. Christmas Eve. Under Mom's tree, lights twinkling on ornaments she'd strung, we exchanged gifts. Me. A leather-bound journal for his coaching notes. Him. A silver band etched with phoenix wings. Slipping it on my finger with, not a proposal, yet, but a promise. Tears pricked as I kissed him. Slow under mistletoe. Dad snores a distant approval. Back in the city. Doubts nipped heels. Tabloid whispers of hookups in the cast. Alex's texts lagging from coaching chaos. One brutal February night. Post-flopped callback. My phone lit. Call me. Emergency. Heart seizing. I dialed, his voice wrecked. Dad found out. Showed up trashed. Swinging. I hit him back. Cops came. It's bad. I booked the red-eye. Landing in Cleveland dawn to a Alex hollowed, bruises blooming purple on his jaw. Eyes shadowed. His apartment reeked of stale fear. Dad's belt marks faint on the wall from the brawl. He called me everything, Alex whispered, crumbling into me on the couch. Said I was a disgrace. That you'd ruin me. I held him through sobs. Rocking like a child. Murmuring you're enough. We're enough. The fallout was a storm, restraining order filed. Dad's voicemails venomous. Frat support fracturing into pity. But Alex rose. Raw but resolute, therapy sessions squeezed between drills. Coming out to his team in a huddle that ended teary and tight. Love's the win, he told them. Steady. And they nodded. A brotherhood reforged. By spring, fractures mended crooked but strong. I wrapped the internship with a callback for Hadestown, Orpheus to some understudies Eurydice, and Alex drove up for opening weekend. Front row with daisies. Whooping through bows. Postparty? Hotel room overlooking the Hudson. We celebrated slow. Bodies a map of survival, scars kissed. Promises renewed. Marry me? He asked at climax. Buried deep. And I arched yes. Shattering together in gold light. Graduation hit June blaze. Elmwood's quad alive with caps and gowns. Alex's diploma crisp in hand. Mine deferred for the city grind. Vows exchanged under the old oak, small, fierce, Mia officiating in a feather boa. Friends toasting with craft IPAs. I do, he said. Band sliding home. And our kiss sealed it, passion's fire. Forgiveness grace. Years spun, me headlining off Broadway. Him head coach in a Pittsburgh suburb. Weekends blurring state lines. Kids came later, adopted twins. Rambunctious with his grin and my sass, teaching us love's mess is its miracle. Alex's dad? A Christmas card truce. Then visits. Gruff apologies over pie. We fought. We forgave. We fell deeper, bullies tamed. Hearts unbound. In the end, it's not the drama that defines us, but the quiet, his hand in mine on porch swings, watching sunsets bleed Ohio gold. Unexpected? Hell yes. But passion like ours? It's the story worth every scar.